I'm just waiting for Judge Simpson.
Good morning. I'm
Good
sorry
morning.
I didn't see you there. Your name?
Diane Kelly.
All right, Mr. Sherrill, are you here for Citibank?
No, Performance Equity Partners.
I called another case. Who's here for Citibank versus Kelly? Mr. Brown's office out there, Linda?
I don't see him, Your Honor.
I've never seen this so much.
Nope,
Don't
I
get me
don't see
going.
him. Yeah. Do you want me to call him?
I don't think we need to be their secretary anymore, to be honest with you. I
I
think we
know.
have enough to do. It's just ridiculous how many times I see people not show up. Bank of America, I'm sorry. I'm going to give you about 10 minutes and then I'm dismissing the case. Bank of America versus Heather, have a seat, ma'am. Heather Martin, 2500048. Good morning, Mr. Barta. Your appearance?
Good morning, Judge McNally. Suzanne Barta, B65425 on behalf of Bank of America.
All right. Do I have Heather Martin here, Linda?
She was here. I don't know where she went. I had her checked off. She was, oh no, no, that's not her. I don't see her now.
Was she ever out there?
Yeah, I had her checked off. I don't know if she was in the, was she, ask John if she was in the in the courtroom.
There's no way in court. No.
No,
Well, she was out there. I think, do we have a phone number on her? Do you have a phone number on her, Mr. Barta? I'd like to at least call her if she was out there. Maybe we just lost her.
I do not, Your Honor.
I'll look on the paperwork, Your Honor.
All right, we'll pass that one. JP Morgan Chase versus Steve Kraft, 2500096.
I do
Morning.
not have Mr. Kraft here.
Mr. Sparks, are you here for JP Morgan?
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. Keith Sparks here on behalf of
We're-
JP Morgan Chase.
Hang on a second. Were you also here for Citibank versus Kelly?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, I see what happened. Okay. All right, let's go back to Citibank versus Diane Kelly. Come on up here, ma'am. 2404885. Good morning. Your name?
Diane Kelly.
So they think you owe them 97.8031. Do you agree that you owe that amount?
No, it's lower.
How much is it?
It's 6 something. I don't know the right amount.
Okay,
I only had an $8,000 card and I used 5 of it.
5,000?
Yeah, or close to 5,000.
Okay,
And
you
then they
got
added taxes and fees and everything.
interest.
Yeah, and then now they sent me this and I'm like 9, but I'm not saying that I don't owe them money, I do. But
Well,
I
you
sent them
can't
my
just say
letter.
6 something. The great thing about math, I say this all the time, is there's only one right answer. 6 what? 6,001, 6,900,
I
69.
think it's like 6,800.
Nah. You got to figure it out. Those interest rates. What's the interest rate on this one?
1 second, Your Honor. I'll take a look at the card. Statement.
That's the problem.
Looks like it was at 25. 25.99.
I'll just set it up. Maybe you guys can talk. I'm gonna set it for trial, okay? You guys can talk and see if you can resolve it. And we'll go from there, all right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let's see, Keith Sparks. All right, I'm gonna give you discovery until June the 7th. There's no ADR, no motions on the date of trial. All motions for summary have to be filed and heard not later than 20 days before the trial date. I'm gonna put down 1 hour. We're gonna set this the same time as the other one, I think. You have to file a witness list, naming the names of any witnesses that you might call, ma'am. And they have to do the same by May the 7th. Nobody, you don't have to file a trial brief if you choose to do so. You have to file and exchange it not later than 7 days before the trial date. Discovery is the exchange of information. If they have documentation, you can request it. If you want to send them a simple written interrogatory question that says, tell me how you calculate the amount contained in your complaint, that should give you your answer, and then you can go from there, okay?
Okay.
We're gonna set a trial date for late June, Lisa. Linda, geez, what's wrong with me?
June
Okay.
17th at 10 o'clock.
June 17th at 10 o'clock. Okay, that'll be your trial date. You can talk to him and see what you have, and we'll go from there, all right?
Okay,
Best of luck to you.
thank you.
Do you have any questions? I know it's a lot to comprehend. You're not a lawyer, but if there's something that they have, you can request it. Okay, in writing. All right, here you go.
I just have a question. When I got
Okay.
summons, it said that for me to write out a paper to the court and to,
In answer
other
to the
party?
complaint? Did
Yeah.
you submit your answer to complaint?
yeah, and I sent it in, but I just didn't understand how come I still had to go to court if we couldn't settle it, like, to see what I could do to help. I mean, I know I still don't have a job, but I did send in my reasoning. So I don't understand how come I have to go through all this.
Well,
I never did this before.
they claim that you owe them a certain amount. You're saying you owe less. There's a dispute,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
So I don't know how to answer that other than to say, I'm here to resolve the dispute.
Okay,
And you have to file witnesses. You can ask them questions and interrogatories or request for production of documents, or however you want to conduct discovery that would tell me that you only owe the 6,000 in some that you claim.
okay,
But a lot of times, I'm just telling you, with these interest rates, and I don't agree with them, I wish I could do something about them. I don't like it. I think it's ridiculous that we're loaning people money at 26%. I can't do anything about it. It's not I don't have any authority to start making my own rules up here.
okay.
So while I disagree with that amount, you said 25.99, right?
Yeah, 25.99 was what I saw in the statements. Your Honor.
It's a lot. And sometimes credit card companies get people in deep trouble when they shouldn't even be issuing a credit card, but I don't have anything to say about that. So you can figure out what's owed. Hopefully you and Mr. Sparks or somebody from his office can resolve it. If you can't, then we're going to have a trial, okay?
Okay.
All right,
And what date did you say that was?
June the 17th,
Okay,
okay?
all right, thank you.
Best of luck. JP Morgan Chase versus Steve Kraft.
At 9
What
a.m.
time,
Zoom
sir?
appearances. 9 a.m. and Zoom would be fine, Mr. Medlone.
Thank you.
All right, anything further from the people for today?
No, Your Honor.
From the defense?
Oh, sir, thank you.
Okay,
Hope everyone's
Ms.
doing all
Miller-
right up there.
yeah, well, it's, we've got power at the courtroom and so we're able to open, but Sadly, there's a lot of folks who are still struggling and don't have power yet, but we'll get there. All right, Ms. Mataloni, we'll have your
Sorry.
docket call on June 9th, 9 a.m. Zoom is okay. And your trial in person, obviously, July 21st, 9 a.m. All right, have a great day.
Thank you, sir. Yep, you too.
Mr. Kandal, Mr. Vogler for status. And this is up for a status conference, People v. Clarence Kandal. This file 22-93236F8. Council, you want to state your appearances, please?
Sure, my Buffalo, we're going on behalf of the people. Your Honor, Mike Vogler, representing Clarence Kandal.
Okay, Mr. Kandal's appearing by Zoom from the Carroll Hospital, I believe. The latest report we had was that he's still receiving treatment. They're hopeful that competency could be restored. Any further proofs on that question, Mr. Vogler, at this point?
No.
Mr. Virgo?
No proofs, Your Honor.
Okay, so we are sometime next month going to hit the statutory deadline, I believe. And as I reviewed the legal requirements that would be require dismissal, it's not with prejudice. I misspoke at the last hearing. There's a process by which the prosecutor can petition for reinstatement of the charges within certain time frame if Mr. Kandal is restored to competency. But I can't order him to be held at the hospital under the competency order past May, and we'd have to dismiss the criminal case. If the prosecutor wants to file a petition in the probate court, they'll have to pursue that in that fashion. So I think maybe we should set this for one final status conference, May 5th, and then see where we're at. Does anybody know, did anybody calculate the actual days to know what day in May we're out of time?
I did not, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, let's set this for final status conference, May 5th at 9 a.m. Anything further from the people,
No, Your Honor.
from the defense?
No.
Okay, have a good day, Mr. Kandal. All right, and Mr. Gilbert, we've got people for a docket call, People v. Gabriel Wicards.
Yes, Your Honor.
24-93346. I don't see him in Zoom. Do you know if he's?
I tried over the weekend to get a hold of New Hope.
Does live court that I
because,
haven't
that's
seen
my
get
understanding
worse?
That's where he was at for treatment, New Hope Men's.
Probably,
treatment Facility in Sault Ste. Marie. I was unable to get through.
but hard for me to say.
However, he
without
hasn't
a
been
time
returned to
machine.
the jail, so I'm assuming he's still there.
Okay. Any objection to continuing this to the May docket, Mr. McClellan?
No objection, Your Honor.
I believe the prosecutor wants to see how he fares with treatment in their negotiations.
Okay, so we'll hope that he's still there, and it's understandable there's some communications lag with the outages we had last week. Sheboygan Courthouse even doesn't have phone service this morning, I think. So we'll schedule this for a docket call on May 5th at 9:10 a.m. I'm going to say that Zoom appearances are not allowed. However, if he is in treatment, then obviously we don't want him to leave the treatment. But if he's out of treatment, I want him to.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We got from the jail, Miss Valentine.
Your Honor, we're, before we call Miss Valentine, we're looking to get a the prosecutor's office, I believe, is looking to get a plea so that we can enter a plea.
Okay. Are you Miss Valentine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just sit tight. I want to put you back in the waiting room for a minute.
Don't go anywhere now. Just stay in that room that you're locked in.
The Attorney General for Mr. Green after that, and I do see Mr. Sarsky just zoomed in early. We could call that Mr. Vogler. From page 5 on my docket. People be Brandon Pisarski, file 24-93317.
1 West versus Rico McGuire. Council state your affairs. Want me leading off, but go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I said, you don't want me leading off, so I'll let whoever wants to start.
You're examining witnesses. That would be pro.
Correct.
There are a few left. Wanting to testify.
Correct. Are they here?
Ms. Carson, I think we left off in the middle of her testimony. She's not able to be here this morning. She's at school. And I think we asked her all the questions that we needed to at the moment, unless there's some development there now
Right. And then some
He
issues
isn't that
were brought
picky.
up, as I recalling. So of the 17 individuals, was there anybody in Zoom? No. Of the 17 individuals, was there anybody else here that needed to or wanted to testify? That's here of the list you gave me.
So, Your Honor, Rico McGuire is not a defendant in any of these cases.
Correct.
And we did take testimony from her. There was a development in her situation that I thought the court had to take testimony about. Otherwise, I think we would like to ask city officials to testify.
Okay, all right, we'll get, okay.
And Your Honor, I know that you said you had I'll give you this.
Okay, so that was number 8 on the list that I had, Miss Freeman Harris. Okay. Any of the others that I had that did not?
That's a
was,
cool shirt for that robe.
Joseph Blankenship,
It's a big contrast. It's kind of cool.
Erica Reed. Then there were a number of people that I believe wanted to testify via Zoom, but
My report showed that both Blankenship and Reed were relocated.
Blankenship and Reed were relocated. Then there were, I guess, some other.
Looks like fake lawyer is set for tomorrow.
So right now, the
But I'm
only
not sure
person
yet.
is Miss Freeman Harris that you guys are aware of. That,
That's right, Your Honor.
okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I just wanted to, Miss Griffith is here, Regina Griffith.
Oh, she's here. Okay, I had her as one that was gonna by Zoom. Okay. All right. And then as everything, we ran into an issue that may have specifically related to Beal. And you're here representing Beal, I'm presuming. Pardon?
I said that's right here.
Okay. And what may be some potential issues regarding, at least based upon the testimony and the relocation of individuals and the like.
I had about 50
Okay.
people
All right.
tell me that it was set for today.
So
I set up a
ready to
stream.
continue, I guess, since Miss Griffin is here. we
Might have
can
gotten
start with
continued to tomorrow.
That would be acceptable to everybody.
In other words, cram it.
Ma'am, if you please come forward to be sworn.
Take a seat, raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
See, spell your first and last name for the record, please.
Regina Griffith, Regina, last name Griffith, Griffith.
You may inquire. Ma'am, where do you reside?
I was in, building 1427 and apartment 117.
1427-117. Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Friedman.
Where do you reside now?
Homeless.
Excuse me? You're homeless?
Habit.
Well, have you requested relocation?
I didn't know there was one on right away because my apartment got, the housing commission shut it down. Because it was a little one. And, I had to move out by June 30th, last year. That I had to sign a stuff, my daughter told me immediately. Got letters. I wasn't receiving them because Amy was telling Melanie to get my mail and put it up in the office. So I missed all that.
So, when did you vacate
She does not anymore.
1427 unit?
June 27th. Like I was told by the housing commission.
What, the Hanover Housing Commission?
Yes. I have to reach you.
We have no information under your.
What? So, ma'am, when you were told to, all right, let me ask this. What was the reason they told you that?
There's two. I had the list that they were supposed to, have the stuff fixed by a certain time. They did. And they gave the second notice and the third notice, they wasn't being great no more than I had any about.
But, these buildings were not, they still had a COC, I mean. So,
No, they didn't.
Well, in June, I thought they may have, but, but maybe that's part of the problem. Part of the problem may be the buildings had COCs because they hadn't been inspected. And I mean, it doesn't mean that the conditions didn't exist. Right? I mean, and that's what it sounds like here. If the COC existed, it was the prior COC, but her unit.
It's horrible.
well, I guess to be blunt, we have never seen anything from her indicating that she was ordered to vacate. She wasn't ordered by the court to vacate. If she lost her voucher, that might be a different issue.
Can I
Just
see?
several times I came to court, she tried to sue me $4,000.
So, ma'am, at the time that you were there, what was your rent, your portion
My portion was 165.
a month?
Yeah, correct.
And then the rest of that, the housing commission paid.
That is correct.
Okay, how long had it been? Had that been the what? Excuse me. How long had you been paying 165?
I lived there for 3 years.
And that's been your rent for,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
So it hadn't changed really throughout, or if it did, it wasn't a
Well,
lot.
right after they got the, letter from the housing commission, I had contacted Amy because they kept saying that they were gonna have maintenance come in and fix stuff. So I was having my daughter come over because I was leaving, my mom was in the hospital at the time, but they would never show up. So I had called Amy and asked Amy, and Amy was like, well, I don't know what's going on, I'll figure it out, and she never figured it out. So that's where the issue was coming in, and finally, she's like, I'm not fixing your apartment, I'm not doing anything to your apartment. If you want to move out, you can move out, I'm not doing nothing to your apartment.
When was
And she
that?
charged me $300 extra, then she charged me $200 for, month to month. But that wasn't my fault either. And I had that
Well, when did that happen?
right after, housing commission shut that building down. And I have approval in my file.
So. What is 6 times 160? So let me. In May of 2024, you were still residing there. But at that time, the Housing Commission hadn't shut off pay.
Right, they were giving them, warning after warning, giving them chances after chances to fix the issue, and it just never felt to.
Okay, but I'm looking, I guess, at timing of that. Do you have those notices? Why don't you go get those? So my question to you is, in May of 2024, had Arbor One received notice? Pardon?
Yes.
Okay, what do you have to tell me? Okay. What do you show? What is
This
this?
is the letters that they received from the housing commission. I received one, they received one.
So this is a series of letters
Mhm.
throughout. Okay, and you,
When I first moved in, they already knew about the issue because I filled out the, we walked in,
who knew about the issue?
everyone, Amy and, Stacy. I sent a video because it started raining in my house on the third night that I was there. So it's an ongoing issue, but they never cared about it.
When you say there was an ongoing issue, what do you mean?
I would call up there and make, do the maintenance orders. They canceled the maintenance orders. I had proof of that too. We just got, they didn't care to do anything.
Okay, what kinds of things?
My ceiling, finally.
Go ahead.
Finally, the ceiling fell through. So water was coming from the ceiling onto the floor, onto the carpet. And it flooded my bag where all my stuff was, all that garbage. Then it started coming out of the walls. And then the bathroom overflowed with sewer water all over the place. So we went through 2 carpet cleaners
cleaning the stuff up. And then the
Well-
stove almost caught the house on fire.
Hold on a second. Did they fix the ceiling?
No. Right now, it's still like that, or it was like that. I have everything you need, Ron.
So, and we'll get the documents back. So you had the ceiling, you had other water, sewer water, and what, anything else?
So the carpet was it was black mold. Yeah, I ripped the carpet out.
I'm
They
not
were
falling
supposed
for
to
this
fix
again.
it. They never, probably to this day, it's not fixed. And it was bad. It was a bad living situation. Bad.
Okay, so who was in your unit? You,
Me,
just you?
yes. And then I would have my daughter come over when they wanted to come in and do the maintenance. Supposed to do the maintenance, but they never came. Never came. And that was going on since July. I moved in July 24, from July 24th
Of 2023,
of 2022.
22.
Yeah, so
Okay,
I just moved out in June. That would be 24.
okay, so. And you moved out because the housing commission said you had to. Okay, so you had a voucher, where's the original of that? That's it. So you had that's hers. And so you had a voucher, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you still have it?
From what my understanding is, because I work with SOS too, Grace, and she was trying to help me through all this too, but the communication to R1 and the housing commission, I was supposed to have a movement packet, and I never received it because Amy was taking the mail and having the mail and take it to the office. So I never received any of my mail. So finally, I ended up calling to find out what was going on. I have documents of that too. And they said they just keep looking for a place. I'm still looking for a place.
Okay, so as you sit here today, you believe that you have a voucher.
Yes.
Okay, but you're homeless at this.
Can't find nothing. And then when you fill out the application, you gotta explain why I moved from R1. Then you can't even explain why.
I don't know why I'm still here, other than I have an overwhelming sense that this is going to go sideways. It may not, but that's that's just my instinct here.
Yeah. Well, hold on a moment. I mean, part of my problem, go ahead. Yeah, come on.
see, I'm going to use Miss Fowler's word. She now is in a throuple. And not only does she choose to be in a throuple, and she's shacked up in the bed with the throuple. Now, if anybody thinks this is okay, I am in the wrong world.
It starts. So council, I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first 6 pages, and then I think everything else should be excluded and returned. If- Would you agree with that? Or basically starting at the first photograph picture, so everything above that.
Your Honor, I think page 5.
Page 5. Let's see. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. So first 4 and then 6 should probably be part of it. Everything else should be.
Here's your Honor, towards the back, there's one.
I would be taking that. Is there one that you think should be in?
I think that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Otherwise.
Um, so I would have 6 pages total. Right. Which would be a misjudged second, it says second notice in the top corner, and then it's accompanying page. That's the one that has abatement across it. Then I would have the stop payment, which would also be 2 pages. Then I would have the shelter association letter, and then the ledger. Is that right? All right. So I didn't look at it before council did. Can council give me everything back but that, or you can give me the whole thing back, and then I will just make a copy of these 6 for everything.
Okay.
What do you want me to do? Just give everything back? Yeah. Just take everything back. And Ann, I'm gonna need you, please. All right, so ma'am, what we're doing is, you got it, you got some personal stuff in there. I got it.
I thought I got it all.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So you understand what I did. I took everything like that out. The copies that we gave, I'm gonna have my staff shred. Okay, and then, so that needs to be shredded and copies.
this is being shredded, this is what you need copies of.
Correct, for counts. All right. So part of my concern, and you'll see it, council, when is that the landlord would have known that payment was stopping. And the reasons for it, yet then filed a case against Miss Griffith on or about that same date of the stop. So payment was going to stop June 1st. Notification it, and as I look at it, went out May 24th. And they filed a case in June. Ma'am, but you moved out at the end of June, is that correct?
I think we're about by June 29th. So it was.
Well, and counsel, what is stranger to me in this is I'm just, and then you can ask whatever questions you want regarding it. I'm looking at her file. And on with the documents she's presented on June 28th of 2024, plaintiff took a judgment for 2388.10, which she could not have gotten to unless the payments had stopped, which they had June 1st. Then an amended judgment was to be filed for 1177.10, which would seem to me to be, well, in July, the amended judgment was filed. Every other, so, Freeman, while I hear you in saying that you don't know about this, but what's clear to me based upon looking at her file is that the client did know about this. And despite Miss just stopping payment, proceeded to take a judgment against her for not only her portion that she hadn't paid, but for the Mr. portion of it. And ma'am, was there a point where you had stopped paying rent?
No. But when you look at.
Hold on, just hold on a second. I need you to answer my question though. And in December of 20, we'll work with just 24. Did you pay rent to them and you paid your 165? You paid your 165 up to the month that you left. some of this we had and you had submitted to the court
Mhm.
already. Hold on, just hold on, okay? Do you? Ma'am, do you still have records of your payments?
I do.
Particularly from, can you do this? Wow. Would it be fair to say you did not, like you didn't pay 165, you would pay different amounts?
Okay, big chunks at a time. So I was
Right,
never behind,
gotcha.
because I didn't want to, actually, I didn't want to lose my place, so I was always ahead.
On your portion.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure you do. All right, hold on. So I understand you're saying your client may not know anything about it, but that can't be true.
Well, Your Honor, there is, I did take a look though. I don't have the initial complaint that was filed back in May, but the complaint was filed in May of 24. The abatement didn't take effect until 6/1/24. So the numbers they don't.
Right, but then look at the numbers that I'd agree with you on that's when the abatement took place. Notice of that abatement was prior to or about the same time as the filing of the complaint. That's what I'm saying. But then the problem becomes that on the filing of that complaint, they say she owes $772, I think is what I remember looking at. I'm not looking right at the complaint. But then that's on May 23rd. By June 28th, they take a judgment against her for almost $2,400. In July, an amended judgment was to be filed, and they still took a judgment against her for $1,177.10. Then, when it wasn't paid, at some point, plaintiff attempted to enter a dismissal, and I would not enter dismissal in the case, and it became part of these cases. So I mean, they knew, I mean, unless I hear something different, but it seems to me that they would have known that her unit was not habitable, could not be, or that Mr. was telling them
What
that
are you talking
they
about?
needed to fix it. And then they still sued her. And then when Mr. did what Mr. was going to do and say, we're shutting it off, they took a judgment against her for what Mr. hadn't paid, knowing that Mr. wasn't going to pay it because the repairs hadn't been.
Not yet.
All I can tell you is that as far as the proceedings that are pending here, they did attempt to dismiss the case.
Oh, I get why. Because she has claims. I mean, first of all, Mr. Freeman, and it wasn't you, I mean, because you had just come into this, but there's a reason why I swear attorneys in to take the default judgments. It's not by mistake. And
To be clear, Your Honor, neither this office, my office, nor Field Properties were involved in any of these transactions.
I get it, but you represent them now. For good or for bad. Ma'am, is there anything else you want to say to me?
Yeah, the second notice, well, the first notice on the, housing commission was April 24th, 2024. So they had April, May, June, they had 3 months to do the repairs.
Okay. Anything else? No? Any questions?
I have a question, Your Honor. At one point, you mentioned something about your oven or stove. Can you say more about that?
Yeah, the oven almost happened to catch on fire. I called maintenance to come fix it. I have background to that too, but, they never came, so I had to go to the stove myself.
You would install the stove yourself?
Yes.
And I understand, so it sounds like there was, with the flooding that you were describing, was that sewage water?
Yes, it was.
Okay, and what floor were you on?
I was on the, main floor. And, it wasn't from, when I first moved in, Stacey was trying to tell me it was from the main, upstairs, because they would always be flooding. I did have somebody come and investigate it, and I did pay him $300 something to look at it. Then he had to come back and he told me that, and he'll come, he has to, but, they told me that the issue is bigger than what can be handled. That I was wasting my money to address this, to call somebody and see what we could do about it. And I did, I started calling, a bunch of people at the housing commission, I was calling them. This is not, this isn't new, it's been an ongoing situation.
Were there certain times of day or anything where the flooding would occur?
When it rained, it was worse, but sometimes it would just happen, you can't control it, it's coming from wherever the issue was, that's where it was coming, why the coming came. Like I said, I went through 3 steam cleaners.
You were on the first floor.
That's correct.
So were there 2 floors on top?
There's, my floor and then 1 more floor.
Okay, because there's sort of a basement, right?
The laundry room was always flooded.
What was the water?
The other suit,
How do you know?
by the smell, it was awful, it's awful.
Was there anything visibly noticeable about it that you made it look like sewage?
Yeah. Yeah, it was sewage. Doesn't take nothing to figure it out. It was just rainwater. It caved the whole ceiling in.
Which part of which ceiling?
When you walk into the door, my front door, right there. I have pictures of that too. It's all over the internet.
Did you have, I mean, that's obviously a huge issue. Were there other issues as well? Like, did you have
I had issues.
hot water consistently?
No, they have hot water. Sometimes they didn't have, I have letters that they sent out They gave us little heaters. They never invested in anything, nothing, nothing.
Your Honor, I understand that the city inspectors have some photographs of when they inspect the unit, and send it,
This unit,
this particular unit. And so I'm just, I guess I would defer to the court on how and when you would like to,
well, I'll hear from them.
okay.
I. Okay. Um. Was there any other questions you had of her, Mr.?
I'm kind of curious about her installing the stove.
Go ahead.
Did you have somebody install it?
Yes.
Who installed it?
A friend, his name is James. And they wanted to give me a stove. There was a couple people that had stoves in there.
You didn't have it for.
No, I wish I did.
I do have another question, Your Honor. So my understanding of vouchers is that they use them or you lose them, they expire.
That is correct.
Do you know when the expiration date is for yours?
June 2007.
I'm sorry, do you know when you have to place it? I might be misunderstanding. When do you have to place it by or you lose it?
June 2007. So when I had to use about the housing voucher, yeah, I just have to find a place, but it expires, 2007. If I don't find it,
Is it 27?
yeah, 2027.
So my experience is that they typically will go for 3 months and sometimes are extended to 6 months.
That is correct.
In extraordinary circumstances, maybe a little bit longer. Do you know why yours would be so much longer than that?
Probably because of the situation. More.
But you're sure that you have your
Yes.
voucher?
Yeah, I talked to, Gracie, well, I talked to her in December.
Right.
When we were going to court, and then I just recently talked to her. Because I asked her, I said, what am I supposed to be doing? She told me, just keep coming here and.
Okay,
do what-
so. Okay. All right.
And what is preventing you from finding another place?
It's hard to find, it's really hard.
Do you think that the judgment might be affecting?
Oh, yeah, it'll be affecting a lot, because I mean, they want to know, they want to make sure that if they're gonna, just don't want to rent to somebody. That's basically what they say too. What was the reason? I
So-
give them all kinds of reasons, but it's just my word.
So ma'am, where are you living right now?
I've been back and forth, pretty much, I'm just couch cruising, but my mom was sick, so I was helping my mom.
I guess I would just ask to keep the record open on her particular cases. It sounds like she might have photographs that would be relevant. You can meet with her at another date, Your Honor. But no other questions.
Yes, so I guess I have a question for you, Mr. Raymond. Why shouldn't I order that she be rehoused?
I think that's up to your discretion, Your Honor.
Oh, I know, but I'm asking, I mean, my inclination is to order that she immediately be housed. So is there any reason I shouldn't order that?
I'm gonna leave that to your discretion, Your Honor. I would say though that I'm not being argumentative here, but I'm not sure that the decision to not allow dismissal is doing her any good. It could be without prejudice to her having some claims. I don't think that the case, the judgment against her, I don't think is working in her.
You mean the judgment that should have never been?
That was not a judgment that I entered, so I'm not going to.
Okay, but you mean that judgment that should have never been? Well, Mr. Friedman, you and I have both been doing this for a long time. I know that when landlords want to escape something that they've done, what they do is they file against people, and then all of a sudden, when things start to look bad, they want to dismiss them. It wasn't by accident that I didn't allow these cases to be dismissed. Because the moment I would have dismissed her case, she would have never gotten here and told me that because of the circumstances at Arbor One West, this is a court's interpretation of what she's told me, led her to become homeless. And then I could then sympathize and empathize with her, but I could not do anything about it. Like what I'm about to do, which is I'm going to order that Arbor One West rehouse her immediately. She is to be rehoused within the next 5 days.
Your Honor, would the court consider setting aside the judgments that were previously entered?
I'll consider that at a later time. Right now, I want her in housing. She should be living like she's living. Okay?
Your Honor.
What I'm gonna do is I want, have you talked to the folks at Legal Services? They'll operate through Legal Services in terms of her rehab.
So she wants to get her contact information and everything to legal services. We can work through that, but we don't have any contact information for her.
That's because she had to move and she's homeless. I get it. So that's why I'm gonna ask Legal Services to help her with this. Okay, Ms. Griffin. All right. We're probably gonna need you back for other testimony and everything, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Never mind.
Well, that was something. Wasn't what we were looking for, but that was something.
Outside of the folks in the building department, are there other tenants that I saw my group kind of arrive and I didn't know they walked in.
Yes, Miss Harris Freeman is present, although she just is out.
Okay, she just stepped out. Some young ladies walked in. Were they, I don't know if their names got to us or not.
Mr. Robertson is here, is on the list, as well as Ms. Drake.
Miss Robertson is here. Okay. And Miss Drake is here. Okay. And you said who just stepped out? That was Miss Harris Freeman stepped out.
Oh, she just.
Oh, there she is. Okay. All right. So I have 1, 2,
Well, yeah.
3, 4,
Something
5
happened.
additional witnesses that were on our list. Is that right?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
I
I'm so
know.
sorry.
I know. I saw Miss.
Yeah,
Kim was in
that
here,
strikes
too.
me as odd.
I have 5 other folks that are on the list. I have Miss Freeman Harris. I have Miss Robertson, you indicated, Miss Reed. Well, Miss Griffith testified, and then Miss Drake.
Okay, yep, that matches my.
That's last, okay.
I have the same thought, Angelina.
Are
That might be a
those
function. That
are
might be a
those
function of them
individuals
accepting
still
government money.
in Arbor One West, or do we know?
I believe that at least 2 of
That's
them
what I'm thinking.
have been offered relocation and taken it. I'm not sure about the others.
Give me names, I can tell you whether they've been relocated.
Miss Harris, Freeman Harris, are you still in Arbor One West unit?
Oh, no, I'm in the building right now.
You're in the villa side.
Yeah,
And we don't. I have a tenant in the waiting room. Who's that? Grove?
Yeah. Well, she's at the very
I don't, oh, I got you. So I also have Alyssa Grove, who is appearing via Zoom.
Oh.
And you keep raising your hand. Who are you? And were you going to want to testify before the? Okay. I don't know if you're on our list, however, but. Huh? You're letting Miss Grove in. Okay.
All right. Well, that was interesting. I guess we'll leave it there. I was going to do Valo, but I don't know. I don't trust that it's even happening. I'll look. I won't start until the damn thing starts. Because every time I try to anticipate one of these things, it's not the day. Which makes sense. That's certainly the case in my practice as well. Things get moved in between. But yeah, you know, these aren't my cases. I don't have an appearance on file. Let me be honest. I never know that anything's going to happen unless I have Yesenia tracking it for me. I don't track it. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yesenia tells me when I need to be somewhere. That's her job. Since I haven't assigned her that task for YouTube, this is what you get. This is what you get. All right. I don't know. I don't even know why I stayed with it. Okay, fine. This place is a mess. The judge didn't like that landlord was charging people for places that were uninhabitable. He finally got to have his big moment. He's pro landlord, ridiculously so. I mean, tenant, ridiculously so all the time. And today we finally found a case where that was justified. It's like 1 in 100. He goes 100 for 100. But today he was right. It's absolutely insane to me that he could order to rehouse, but again, that's probably because they're taking it's probably because they're taking public money. That's going to imply some other things. Other than that, it's just like, no, just you rule on possession, and you'd rule on the issue of possession, and you'd rule on the issue, and then you'd assess money damages one way or the other based upon the testimony that comes in. This sort of notion of, that sort of injunctive relief. I'm going to order you to, it's a specific performance equitable type remedy. You have to rehouse somebody. We shy away from that crap in law, generally speaking, because all you're doing is inviting a pile of issues. Generally speaking, if you're in law, do you guys want to do a division of law and equity? I got 6 hours. Let's do this. Since everyone lied to me and Val's not even on today, let's do 6 hours on the division of law and equity. Starting back in the good old UK. And then we'll go forward from there. The beginning of this lecture is going to be in Old English, so you're going to have a hard time understanding it. Let's do it. It'll be fascinating. No, okay, now I'm bailing out of here. I don't even know what the hell to do with this stream. It's my usual wild goose chase because it's not like sometimes I get it's 100% failure rate at Law Talk with Mike. 100%. Every time, all the time. The only reason I say it is you guys were watching this. All right. Seriously, y'all are the best. You're all watching it. I messaged somebody this. I said, you know, here's the thing. This stream went to hell in a handbasket. But this is failing law talk with Mike style. This stream went to hell in a handbasket and everybody's making fun of me. Rightfully so. But they're watching. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to do with this. I'm just gonna let it run until something happens. We got a ruling. We got Judge Simpson all excited. He could be his hero for the common man. I think he's right in this case, but it's all dopey. It's all this hero complex BS. I'm sorry. Like, okay, the place sucked. Settle up on damages and have him get another place. In this case, he specifically says you have to rehouse them. I wouldn't want to be rehoused by these scumbags. I just like say, hey, why don't you give me the rent back for the time that I had to live in this shit show, literally, and then I'll go get something else. But we're talking about, I appreciate we're talking about people who that wouldn't be there in the first place if they weren't without means. So they don't operate in life like I do. Like, this sucks, I'm going someplace else. That's my approach. But I have more options than a lot of them. I appreciate that. I appreciate that that's the case. All right. Thank you for coming out. I don't know what the hell to do with this. I guess I'll just leave it up there. I'll just let it float. Or maybe I'll throw it in the memory hole. Otherwise known as the members area. Thanks for coming out. I'll see you soon.